Hi, my name is Robin Wong. I'm a photographer based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Welcome back to another episode of Robin Speaks. This is a video podcast series where I share my random thoughts on photography topics. In this particular podcast, I want to talk about the latest announcement from OM Digital Solutions, the 90mm F3.5 Macro lens. I also want to talk about the Panasonic 9mm F1.7, which was launched this year. It is still not available in Malaysia. I don't know why. I want to talk about that. And of course, I'm taking this opportunity to answer as many questions as I can, which I've received from emails, from the comments in my latest YouTube videos. There's plenty of ground to cover, so let's do this. I know that this is not news anymore. It's been a while since Olympus announced that the 90mm F3.5 macro lens is in development. The announcement was made a month ago, sometime in September this year. If we look back at the history, about 2 years ago, in July 2020, Olympus, back then it was still Olympus, it was not OM Digital Solutions yet. Olympus updated the lens roadmap. In the updated roadmap, there was one lens that was very clear that was coming at that time, which was the 8-25 f4 Pro. And there was a mysterious blotch at that macro area, about the 100mm range. That blotch we'll assume was the 100mm macro lens. Now, 2 years later, the lens is not out yet, it is not launched, but the OM Digital Solutions, they announced a macro lens is in development and they updated the roadmap again. Now it is clearer, it's not just a blotch. They came with some details, and I think the details are really interesting in this particular official announcement. So 2 years plus after that tiny blotch, the mysterious preview of what's to come, now we have more concrete details on the particular macro lens. It is a medium telephoto. It is not 100mm, it is 90mm to be exact, and the aperture opening is f3.5. And we know that it is a pro lens, meaning that the lens will be weather sealed, it will have incredible optical formula. I'm expecting the image quality to be really sharp and technical flaws to be very well controlled. And the amazing thing about this macro lens, first of its kind in micro 4/3 autofocus lens lineup, it has equivalent of 4:1 magnification. That is even twice more than what we get with the current 60mm f2.8 Olympus macro lens. I think that's a huge deal. Of course, when we are shooting tiny subjects, say insects or bugs, we want as much magnification as we can get. So having double the magnification of what we have now from the 60 f2.8 macro lens, I think that's a huge deal. And in the announcement, they also say that the lens will have built-in image stabilization. Being a pro lens with built-in image stabilization, I'm expecting it will be 5-axis sync IS capable, meaning that if you use this with Olympus cameras or new OM system cameras like the OM1, we will enjoy the benefit of the 5-axis sync IS, much stronger stabilization, which is really critical if you are using a long lens such as the 90mm, that's medium telephoto range, and this will definitely benefit macro shooting because the closer you get to the subject, the higher the magnification is, the more prone it is to shake, right? So having powerful image stabilization is very, very important. Now, we know a lot now, we just don't know what's the size of the lens, how big or how small, how heavy it will be. We don't know how it will look like. We don't know whether it will have manual focusing clutch. I hope it has. It is a macro lens after all. We do have to use manual focus in certain critical situations, so manual focusing clutch will really help. out. I do hope that they have a function, the customizable function button, which is the FN switch on the camera itself. I hope these are included. They don't chip out like what they do in the latest Pro lenses like the 12-45, where they don't have the manual clutch or the FN shortcut button, right? I do hope that they include those critical features in this 90 f3.5 macro lens. Now, we also don't know what the price is. I'm predicting it'll be about the range of 1,000 US dollars. Maybe it's 99 or 1099. I think if they go beyond that, it'll be really, really difficult for people to justify buying another macro lens on top of what they already have, the 60 f2.8, which is excellent, but we will see. Now, coming back to me, all right, I made a video to talk about this actually 2 years ago when they have that tiny blotch on the updated roadmap in the Olympus update in July 2020. I said that the two lenses that are coming, the 8-25 f4 Pro plus the possibly 100mm macro, I wanted to get both of these lenses. I said I will get these lenses. Now, I did purchase the 8-25 f4 Pro, right? But now I'm reconsidering whether I want to get this new macro lens. Now, I am a macro shooter. I love doing inside macro. If you've been following me for a while, I've been doing it a lot. Maybe not so much recently. Mental note, I should go and do a little bit more inside macro. Now, it just doesn't justify the cost of me spending for another macro lens if I can't use the macro lens for something else. I was kind of hoping that it'll be longer, like 100mm, and I was hoping that it'll have brighter aperture opening, say f2.8, f2.5, f2, right? That will be an excellent portrait lens or a medium telephoto lens which I can use for my stage photography, for my event photography, for my portrait shots, right? I think that would have been excellent. Now we have, of course, the Olympus 75 f1.8, and if I have 100 f2, that will be amazing, right? But no, they gave us 90 f3.5. Not that we can't achieve shallow depth of field, you still can blur the background, but you know, f2, f2.5 would have been really appreciated, especially if you want to use the lens to shoot non-macro stuff, indoor in low light conditions. But it seems like OM Digital Solutions is making this lens a dedicated macro lens, and not to say you can't use this lens to shoot like landscape or wildlife or other things or sports in good light. It's just that I wish there's something more to the lens, or maybe they need to keep the size down. Maybe if they do f2, f2.8, the lens will be too big. I don't know. We have to see the lens to really understand what it is. But I just feel that, you know, they're missing a boat here. They're missing an opportunity. You know, if we have 100 f2 macro lens, I would be willing to spend more money on the lens than say a 90 f3.5. Well, what do you think of the lens? We know enough to have a first impression or first opinion of what's to come from this 90 f3.5 Macro Pro lens. Are you excited about this lens? Do you think that the 4:1 equivalent magnification will make a big difference? Do you think the 5-axis Sync IS will be something that you will prefer this lens over the existing excellent 60 f2.8? Mind you, we already have the excellent 60 f2.8 macro from Olympus. Of course, the 30 f3.5 macro is also an excellent lens. I've been using the 60 f2.8 a lot, though I admit I have solved the lens. I don't use it enough. I also have to be very transparent here. I'm doing macro photography, insect, bugs, the spiders that I've shot. These are just for fun. I don't earn anything from my macro photography. I don't shoot this professionally. I'm just doing this as a hobby. So it doesn't make sense for me to keep the 60 f2.8. I don't do enough of it. I think I do more street photography, which is evident from the photos that I've been sharing, the POV videos that I've been making a lot recently. There's more to come. Because I don't use it enough, I solved the lens. But it doesn't mean that I gave up on macro. I still have plenty of options or alternatives to achieve magnification, though it's not on the same level as what the 60 f2.8 can do. I have the Raynox macro filter, which gives me excellent magnification. I also have the extension tubes, which I have vlogged about. I have talked about that very recently. I'll put the link to the video up here. Please check out my video on extension tube, a cheap alternative for macro. It works really well for someone like me who is not making a living from macro. I think it is a good budget alternative. So will I be spending on the 90 f3.5 Macro Pro lens, which is coming? Very unlikely. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like the lens? Do you think you'll get the lens? I'm curious. I would like to hear your thoughts. The next topic I want to talk about is the Panasonic 9mm f1.7 lens. I think it is an excellent lens. I don't have the lens. I haven't seen the lens in person, but based on several reputable reviews out there, excellent reviews done by microphone nerds. Emily, you did a fantastic job. Also, Jimmy Chang, Red 35, his review on the 9mm f1.7 as an Olympus ambassador. He was saying amazing things about that lens. So it has to be a really good lens. Now, let me tell you why I'm deeply interested in this lens. Based on the specifications alone, 9mm, that's an ultra wide angle. Of course, we have wider lenses like 714 or 825, which I currently have. But 9mm, that's wide enough or more than wide enough for what I do, right? Everyone is different. Some people need super wide or even wider than 8 or 7. But for me, 9mm is wider than what I need most of the time. And it has bright aperture f1.7, which is a bonus, and the lens is really small and compact, and it's weather sealed. It has everything I need, and on top of that, the pricing is just right. It is about half the price of what Olympus is asking for the 8-25 lens. Now I thought I can sell off the Olympus 8-25 f4 and the Olympus 12 f2, both lenses I currently have, and replace them with the Panasonic 9mm f1.7. Now hear me out. I love the Olympus 8-25 f4 Pro and I love the Olympus 12 to f2. Both are excellent lenses which I use a lot, both for my commercial shoots and for my personal use. 12 f2 has been my staple vlogging lens for my secondary vlog channel. I do have a vlog channel to talk about non-photography stuff, places that I go to, my travel, people that I hang out with, the food that I eat. I'll put the link to the vlog channel up here. Please subscribe if you have not done so. Most of them were shot with the Olympus 12 f2, excellent lens, versatile. 8-25, of course, I use it a lot for my commercial shoots. I need wide angle for group shots, for internal shots, interior shots. And it's an excellent lens. It's sharp, it's weather sealed. It's everything that I need, right? So why do I think that this Panasonic 9mm f1.7 can replace the Olympus 8-25 and 12 f2? If you look at 12 f2, the 9 f1.7 is wider and brighter. It's as simple as that, and it's cheaper. I'm talking about the asking retail price, the full retail price, right? And it's weather sealed versus the 12 f2, which is not weather sealed. So it's a clear winner. And I definitely will need something wider and brighter for my vlogging if I were to shoot myself in low light conditions, right? Like a dimly lit restaurants, for example. Now, 8-25 is a little bit more complicated. I really like that the 8-25 is a zoom lens and it's versatile. I don't have to be stuck at 8 all the time. Sometimes I take a group shot. I can zoom in immediately to say 14, 18, or even 20 to avoid the wide angle distortion, which can look really ugly if I were to shoot people at close range. I treasure the versatility to zoom. And I also like that the 8-25 it starts from 8, right? It's still wider than 9. So you would think that, 1mm, what's the difference? But it is a lot when you talk about wide angle photography. Now, to sacrifice that to get the 9 to f1.7, it'll be difficult, but I think I can live with it. 1mm And you know, the lens, the 8-25 is huge. It is heavy. It's f4. I really don't like that. It is f4. I wish it was f2.8. Though I've been able to live with it, no issue. I have no problem with my shots. But in my mind, I really wish that it was wider, like it was f2.8. And now I have the option to use 9mm f1.7 from Panasonic. So, you know, it's really tempting to just get that one lens and set off both the 8-25 and the 12f2 from Olympus. Now, I've decided mentally that I want to get this lens. And, you know, I don't lose any money if I really manage to set off these two lenses and get the Panasonic. No problem, right? It's quite straightforward. I don't even need to spend money. I get some money back from selling these two lenses. Here's the problem. The lens is not available in Malaysia. And it has been, 2 months, 3 months since the launch of the Panasonic 9 f1.7. Still can't buy it from any shops, from any online stores. It is not available. And when it was launched about a few weeks later, pre-order was open, so we can make our pre-orders to get the lens. I am not a fan of pre-orders. I don't see the point of pre-ordering. For me, why do I need to put my amount of, let's say, 2,000 ringgit, right, or about $500 US? Why do I want to spend $500 US and wait for a month for the product to arrive? There's no difference. The product is not here. I can just wait for that 1 month. When the product is here, then pay the $500 or 2,000 ringgit and I get the product, right? So I waited. A month, nothing happens. 2 months, nothing happens. And about 2 weeks ago, there was a camera fair. There was the YL Photography or Photo Festival, where all the camera brands came at one spot to showcase the latest cameras. There was sales going on. There were a lot of events and talks. It's a photo festival, right? So I expected that all the latest products from respective brands will be there. We get the Fuji SH2, it was there. SH2S was there as well. We also see the Canon R7 and R10, the latest mirrorless cameras from the R system Canon. We have all the latest cameras from Sony as well. They were there. Even the Nikon, they showcase all the latest Z6 Mark II, Z7 Mark II, Z30, even OM system. All the latest products were showcased there. And I went to Panasonic and I asked the representatives there, hey, where is the Panasonic 9 f1.7? I want to buy one. And I was ready. I want that lens. You know, it's, you know, the thrill of getting a new lens and you know that it's something that you want. I want that lens. And they say, oh, why are you so late? We ran out of stock. We don't have it anymore. It's sold out. I was like, I don't even know how to describe my reaction. How can it be sold out? It is the new product. So there are only two possibilities why the 9 f1.7 is sold out. There's only two reasons. One, it was so hot that hundreds and thousands of people will come and nab the lens immediately. But I don't think so. Someone in my position, I'm quite well connected to a lot of Micro Four Thirds users in Malaysia. If someone has the lens, I'll know it. I don't see any of my friends using the lens. I don't see anyone posting anything about the lens. And if you have a new lens, you will want to shout to the world, hey, I bought this lens, or look at the photos that I take. None. It was quiet, right? So I don't think the first possibility or first reason is correct. I don't think that a lot of people rush to buy the lens that is immediately sold out. I don't think that's possible. Now, second reason is maybe they just ordered and brought in like 5 units or 8 units. And when they came in, they just fulfilled the pre-order. And why it took so long from the pre-order to the fulfillment date is because, I don't know how many people want to buy. Let's just take pre-order. Now in the pre-order list, I have 7 people, 7 pre-orders or 10 pre-orders. Let's just order this number and fulfill them. I'm not going to order more to sell. Dude, you are in a camera fair. You are in a place where people come and buy stuff. You are in a large photography festival. Don't you want to sell lenses? And if you know that this festival is coming, don't you want to order some in advance, say 10 units, 20 units, to put on the trade fair so that people can come and try your lens? and possibly buy. And those like me who have already decided can come immediately and buy. But no, it seems like they are not interested to sell the lens. And I've been waiting for months. Now that excitement, that interest to get that Panasonic 9F1.7, I have to be honest, it is fading. I want the lens, I can't get it. It's not here. It's really, really disappointing. And you know what's even more frustrating? All they did was, oh, sorry, the lens is sold out. End of story. They didn't offer to, hey, would you like to put your name in the waiting list? No. Or hey, how about you wait for 2 more weeks? We have a new fresh stock coming in and I'll contact you. No. All they did was, oh, you're too late. No more. Bye-bye, no lens. Do you see why I feel so annoyed? Maybe I should just give up on that Panasonic 9F1.7 and just use whatever I have now, be happy with the Olympus 8-25 and 12F2. I'm not losing anything anyway. Technically, I haven't lost anything. It is time to answer some questions. Live in Life asked, what do you think of Lumix 25 f1.7? Good news! I have the lens now. I bought it together with the Olympus Pen EP1. I did not plan to get the Lumix 25 f1.7 because the seller refused to sell just the EP1. He sold the EP1 together with the 25 f1.7 and the price was really good. So I thought, why not? I get an EP1, I get another 25mm lens. If I don't like it, I'll sell the lens off. But currently I have the lens, and in fact, I did a POV street photography video very recently, shooting with the 25 f1.7 on the EP1. I'll put the link to the video up here. It has plenty of sample photographs from that lens. Now, you may want to keep in mind that the 25 f1.7 Panasonic is infamous for having focus shift issue. I haven't really checked mine, I haven't scrutinized my copy of 25 f1.7, but I did notice some of my images from the EP1 was soft. I didn't pay much attention because, hey, it's EP1. The focusing was really slow and unreliable. It could have been the focusing issue on the camera not doing its job well rather than the lens. So I need further tests to verify whether my copy has focus shift or not. But if you do a quick search online, you just type in Panasonic 25 f1.7 focus shift, you will see a lot of people discussing this focus shift problem. So the problem is real. Do bear in mind that if you want to get this lens, there's a possibility that you'll run into focus shift issue. And if you don't want to deal with this, there's Olympus 25 f1.8. Michael Miller asked, if you set 1:1 on the lens, does it stay set until you turn off the camera? Michael was referring to the Olympus 60 f2.8 macro lens. There is a shortcut to 1:1. If you want the full magnification 1:1 to stay, then you have to set the camera to manual focus. Once the camera is in manual focus, you use the shortcut to 1:1, then the lens will stay there until you turn the focusing ring. Rob Fielding said, I've missed your videos, Robin. Now, this troubles me. And Rob was not the only one who said this. Some people say, oh, welcome back, Robin. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, where have you been? Wow. I really love watching you, but you've disappeared. Like, wow, we really miss you. Welcome back. I haven't gone anywhere. I have always been around. In fact, I've updated new videos every single week without fail for more than 2 years now. And it's coming to 3 years? Yeah, it's 3 years now I've been making videos consistently. The only time I don't publish video was at the end of the year, the final week of December. I'll take 1 to 2 weeks break. Other than that, the entire year, I used to start making 2 videos every week. Now it depends. Sometimes 2 videos, sometimes 1 video. I do get busy, right? I have shoots, I have other commitments in my life. I'm not just making this video all the time, and that's not the only thing that I do in my life, right? And despite my busy life, I still make video every single week, and it just bothers me that people think I've been away or I didn't do any video or, I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. Like, what happened? Road Tripping said, Robin, the EP1 is not a camera that anyone should be using in any professional shoot. The E620 shouldn't either. This is 2022, not 2009. Why are we discussing such old news? Now wrote, I don't know what you were talking about. I didn't say that the EP1 was a mistake. I talk about EP1 as a reference because that was the first mirrorless camera from Olympus. Being the first, you're setting the standards and expectations to the public on what a mirrorless system is, on what Micro Four Thirds is capable of, and how people should react to your system. If your camera is not ready, the EP1 has a lot of issues. It was slow, it doesn't have a new image sensor, it was using a dated image sensor, which doesn't give very good performance in terms of dynamic range and high ISO. There were a lot of issues with the camera. It was just unreliable, it doesn't have viewfinder, it's just bad. So if you're giving these impressions, which was true, versus DSLRs, we have capable professional DSLRs, which was blazing fast. It gives much better performance in terms of image quality and autofocus. You're gonna lag behind and people are gonna think, oh, mirrorless is not serious. Mirrorless is just a toy. If I'm a serious photographer, if I want to project a professional image, I have to use DSLR. And from the start, right, the first camera, you're already projecting these messages for Micro Four Thirds. You are not inspiring confidence in the public space. Why am I talking about this camera? Because it really happened. And a lot of people don't react positively because the first impression wasn't solid. Now, if they started with a much stronger product, something that's on par with DSLR, I'm not asking them to surpass DSLR at that time. At least work on the autofocus algorithm, at least put in a new image sensor, at least give an electronic viewfinder option. Panasonic has built-in electronic viewfinder in G1. So why Olympus didn't do it? There are a lot of things they could have done. I know it has happened, there's no point going back, you can't change the past, but if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're just gonna keep repeating it and nothing changes, and things are just gonna get worse and worse. And I don't want that to happen to OM Digital Solutions. That's why I want to look into the mistakes that they did. And I think EP1 could have been a better version. Michael Gerard said, Robin, saying that Olin should have started in 2009 with the EM5 makes no sense. They didn't have the technology at that point. At that time, no mirrorless could match a DSLR for pro features. I agree with you, Michael. Saying that Olympus should have started in 2009 with EM5 makes no sense. I did not say that. I did not say Olympus should release EM5 in 2009. Right? That's what you said. I said the first camera from Olympus should have been EM5. I didn't say when. They could have released 1 or 2 years later. In fact, EM5 was released in 2012. Now, if they released EM5 in 2012, if that's the first mirrorless camera, I don't think it's too late. If they can bring it back a year earlier, say 2011, it'll be even better. Right? A camera that is properly built with built-in viewfinder, with blazing fast autofocus. In fact, EP3 already has very fast autofocus. And EM5, the autofocus is very similar to EP3. So EP3 was what? 2011? Right? So if they just waited 1 to 2 years later, they have this technology. To say that they don't have the technology is wrong. In fact, EP2 was launched with a VF2. And the electronic viewfinder, the VF2 is external. If they can make an external electronic viewfinder, they can put it inside the camera. Just 1 year later, you have EVF. And another year later, you have blazing fast autofocus, and the EP3 autofocus at that time is even faster than Canon 1D series camera if you put side by side. Single autofocus. Just 1 to 2 years, you have the technology. And you can't say you don't have the technology, don't do it. Of course, if you don't have it yet, why release a subpar product? Right? Just wait. 2011, or maybe 1 year later, and release a product that everyone wants. They try it, say, wow, I want one. There's no denial, there's no excuse. This is a product that can compete with DSLR in terms of speed and performance. EM5 is a good example. EM1 is an even better example. They just waited 2 years. They have all this technology. Edward Sui said, "Thanks, Robin. Can you please compare Olympus with Panasonic? Both of them are micro four thirds system. Panasonic seems to be better for making videos." I have done comparisons before and I have been burned. Here's the problem. Micro four thirds is not a large community. It's already very small if you compare to Fuji, Sony, Canon, or the larger community group out there, right, for photography. Micro four thirds is so small and yet it is so divided. There is Panasonic cam, there's Olympus cam, and if I say something bad about Panasonic, the Panasonic people will burn me. If I say something bad about Olympus, which has happened recently, which I don't understand, I get burned. There's no pleasing anyone when you do comparison, because when I do a real comparison, I will have to say things that I like, dislike, advantages, disadvantages, the pros and cons, the bad things about the product, which I have to say. And no products are perfect. And when I say something is wrong, I get attacked. And I'm so sick of tired of these attacks, which makes no sense. I don't deserve them. I don't need this drama and trauma in my life, seriously. So I'm very, very reluctant to do comparisons. I will talk about the product, I will share my opinion, but to compare, to say which one is better, people will not accept you even if it's the truth. They just want to hear what they want to hear. They want you to tell them that whatever they use is amazing. It's the best thing out there. If you tell them that what they use, the lens that they have is flawed, they will come with a knife and poke you in the eye. So no. I'm sorry, unless I see an absolute necessity to do a comparison, I'm not going to do one. You Panasonic people, be happy with your Panasonic products. You Olympus people, be happy with your Olympus products. I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm just gonna enjoy my photography. Thank you. Mulat Okutzawa said, "It's nice to see a pro photographer which is such a big enthusiast." Thank you so much for the compliment, and I think it is very important for us to stay as hobbyists or enthusiasts, although we are professional photographers. At heart, we must remind ourselves why we fall in love with photography in the first place. I've seen a lot of working commercial or professional photographers. They were chasing success, they were chasing money, they were running the business because, when you're running a business, you need to think differently. It's not just shooting for fun anymore. You're shooting what your client wants. You need to please your clients so that they come back to you and hire you. You're delivering a product or images. They are not necessarily from your own vision. So doing this over time and taking photos, repetitive photos, even wedding photography, product photography, portrait, corporate, any kind of photography can be very repetitive and, it's just repeating the same formula again and again. It's like you're stuck in a factory doing the same thing over and over, and it does get redundant and it does burn you out. So for me, one way to stay fresh, one way to prevent burnout is to maintain that enthusiast self in me, right? During my spare time, instead of just resting and not touching the camera because I've used it so much for the last few days doing a corporate job, shooting for the entire day, I still bring the camera out to shoot for myself, to shoot for my soul, right? Instead of shooting for clients, instead of fulfilling their desires, it sounds so wrong. Anyway, I'm shooting to fulfill my own needs, right? As a photographer, you have an itch, you have a curiosity, you have a passion to shoot. Right? You want to discover more, you want to experiment with your camera, you want to capture, you are very visual, you want to see something and you want to do something with the camera. Now, if you are a photographer, you don't have that itch, you don't have that urge to pick up the camera and shoot, something is wrong with you. You have to look into yourself and you have to tap a few steps back and really ask yourself, what went wrong? I think as a photographer, that itch or that urge to shoot must be there. That enthusiast self, that hobbyist in yourself, that curiosity, that insatiable hunger for more photographs should always be there. Jerry Ansner said, "Robin, what camera is better as a travel compact solution between the EM5 Mark II and EM5 Mark III and why? Thanks so much for all your thoughts and opinions in this video. I will narrow down to just EM5 Mark II and EM5 Mark III since you're already considering these two cameras. Both are excellent choices. You can't go wrong with either one. If you are doing video, if you are shooting vlogs, or you want to do a little bit of documentary, I think the EM5 Mark III is a better solution because it has 4K video, it has better image stabilization, it has more video features, and the autofocus for video is also a lot more capable compared to the EM5 Mark II. So video, just go for EM5 Mark III. It is a better solution. Now, if you're not doing video, if you're just taking photographs, I think both the EM5 Mark II and EM5 Mark III are very similar. Yes, the EM5 Mark III has newer sensor. You will get a little bit more resolution, better dynamic range, and high ISO performance that's given. And of course, the autofocus is also updated. It is slightly better. The EM5 Mark III also has more newer features like Pro Capture Mode, more extensive controls over the camera. But having said that, the EM5 Mark II is also better built. It is made of metal construction. The EM5 Mark III is polycarbonate or some type of plastic. Other than that, both cameras are very, very similar. Just remember, if you're doing video, EM5 Mark III. If you're not, either one is good. Abdul Aziz Ahmad asked, which external microphone is best to use with this camera for vlogging and travel videos? Well, I'm not an audio expert, so I can't recommend you specifically which model and which brand, but I can say that for travel, you want small, you want convenience, and you can either get a shotgun microphone. That's really convenient because it attaches to the camera, so you just treat it as one unit. You don't have to deal with a lot of other things, so just one unit, camera and a microphone on top, and just run and gun. Easy, right? Another solution would be wireless microphones, such as Rode Wireless Go, which is a popular choice. You can attach the wireless modules anywhere. Just remember that you have to charge the transmitter and receivers. That's another step you have to worry about, which I'm not very keen when I'm traveling. But it's easy to use, it's very small, it doesn't take space in your bag, and it's a very good solution. So either a shotgun microphone, which I personally use a lot for my vlogs when I travel, or wireless microphones. And both have strengths and advantages. You may want to do your own research to find out which works best for you. I personally, for my videos, I use a variety of microphones. Like this podcast series, I'm using a condenser microphone. This is a Maono. I don't even know what the model is, but I bought this for 100 ringgit. It's really less than 100. It's maybe like 90 something ringgit. And that's like 20 US dollars. And you get this quality. Can you imagine condenser microphone at $20 with this kind of quality? But this is only for indoor use. You can't carry this out. When I'm outside, I have my Sennheiser wireless microphone, which I've been using for all my talking heads in this video. And I think that microphone is excellent. I have my reasons to use the Sennheiser or favorite over Rode Wireless Go 2. I have also a shotgun microphone, which I don't like. I'm not going to talk much about it. I may upgrade it to something better in the future. I have lavalier microphone. I have all different kinds of microphones for different purposes. But for travel, I would highly recommend either shotgun or wireless lav. Brian said, Olympus do hurt Bobin's feeling. Well, I hope Bobin is okay. Hopefully Olympus didn't damage him too much. But hey, I'm sure Bobin is recovering and somehow Bobin is bobbing his head. That's all I have to share in this episode of Robin Speaks podcast. Do you have any thoughts to share? Do leave them in the comments below. What do you think of the latest announcement, the OM system 90 F3.5 Macro? Is it a macro lens that you would consider to purchase? Do you agree that the Panasonic 9 f1.7 is a good lens that can replace both the 12f2 and 8-25 Pro? I'm curious to hear what you think. That's it for now. I will continue to do this podcast series, long form video, maybe once a month, maybe once in 2 months. We'll see how it goes. We'll see the response of everyone. But I enjoy talking. I hope you've enjoyed being here with me. But hey, it's been fun. And if you found any of my sharing beneficial, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal. Links in the description below on how you can do that. Any small contribution goes a long way. Will help me to continue making videos and publish them right here. Please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll definitely see you again in the next one. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.